I'm going to take you through a full body kettlebell routine that focuses on the key muscle groups that's going to help improve your golf swing. So the first exercise we're going to do is a hand plank with a kettlebell crossover. This will help stabilize the trunk and the shoulder muscles. So set your kettlebell up in a vertical position, put both hands together on the floor underneath your neck. We're going to take basically a plank position, but with the feet pretty wide. That will make it a little bit easier to stabilize the hips. We're simply going to reach underneath, bring the kettlebell across to the other side, focusing on keeping the hips and the core as stable as possible, so limiting any rotation, and just control the motion side to side 6 to 8 times until you feel like you're struggling to maintain your hip stability. Next, we're going to focus on a wall trunk rotation. This is going to help stabilize the front hip and most importantly gain some mobility in hip internal rotation. So you're going to need something where you can put your back foot on like a wall that's nice and stable. I'm going to use this barbell for this purpose. So I'm going to put one foot flat against the barbell so it's pushed in. I'm going to take a little stride away where I feel like I'm stable. I'm going to let the kettlebell just hang down naturally and create a little bit of a hinge so my chest starts to face the floor. From this position, I'm simply going to try and turn my chest into my front hip. So I'm trying to create almost a triangle between my arms and shoulders and maintain that angle. So I'm keeping stable, I'm going to rotate, block it out, and repeat. We're not trying to go as far as possible by just lifting the arms, we're trying to create that turn through the chest, through the spine. Next, we're going to go into a rear foot elevated split squat. Again, we can use a barbell, bench or chair, something that's going to be around roughly knee height. You're simply going to put your back foot on top of it so it's kind of facing downwards. You now need to take a length of stride that feels like when you go to the bottom of this position, you're not super cramped. So as I go down, you see I can get full range of motion. My upper body just leans a little bit, but I'm not cramped. With the kettlebell, you can either go into a goblet position or a unilateral position where you can just let the kettlebell on the same leg hold. So all we're going to do is go down, full range of motion, sit into the front heel, power up to the top and repeat. Now we're going to go into a variation of the Renegade Row, which is all about strengthening and stabilizing the shoulder and trunk, as well as in the rowing motion, so the key lat muscles that help produce power in the golf swing. We're going to use a barbell again, but you can use a bench. The lower or higher it is will make it easier depending on your strength levels. So you're going to try and go into kind of a straight line position. So imagine a straight line from the back of the head to the heels. Core and glutes are set tight, so we're not sagging or raising the hips. We're simply going to put one hand more towards the middle to help with stabilization. The opposite hand, we're just going to take the weight, and then we're going to create a rowing motion, pulling the elbow towards the back pocket, squeezing at the top, controlling it down without rotating, keeping stable throughout, and a powerful motion in the pull. Next, we're going to go into a kettlebell swing. This is going to focus on specifically power production from the hips, from the ground up, and that vertical force motion. So all we need to do is take the kettlebell, go no more than really hip width apart. The key with a good kettlebell swing is more of a hinging motion rather than the squatting motion, and not feeling like we're pulling the kettlebell up with our arms, letting the momentum of the power take it. So in slow motion, we hinge back and under, we powerfully drive the hips and just let the kettlebell start to swing. Once we get it into full power, we should be able to explode out the ground, snapping the hips and letting that kettlebell stay under control. Finally, we're going to go into the floor single arm press. This is going to help something called anti-rotation through the trunk and help increase strength through the pec muscle, which is a key force producer in the golf swing. So we need to be on the floor. We're just going to lie down, take the kettlebell into a straight arm position. We want to feel like the lower back presses into the floor a little bit, so we kind of keep everything stable. Opposite arm straight, as if it was holding something in the same position. And then in a controlled manner, we're gonna bring the elbow to the floor, tap the floor, not hold, and press. And we're just letting this elbow just stay slightly open away from the body, so it goes in a diagonal fashion, trying to control it and then powerfully drive up from the bottom, keeping that spine and that lower back pressed into the floor.